Warrior Wednesday is here, and I'm coming straight to you from Washington, D.C. Let's talk about it. What am I talking about? I want to share with you some of my travels, some of what is going on this week, but I want to start with the word moratorium. Warrior, do you know what moratorium means? The word's thrown around a lot, but right now I want to educate you. This is most important, so please stick with me as I explain what's going on. The big, beautiful bill put forth by the Trump administration, somewhere, somehow, and nobody in Washington seems to know, and I'm asking day and night, Democrats, Republicans, how did this 1.5 kind of paragraph, how was that entered into this big, beautiful bill that says, basically, let me bottom line it for you and not bore you with details, AI will go unregulated for the next 10 years. There's a moratorium, that is the word they are using, on AI regulation in all 50 states. Well, I'm here to say, how did that get in there? Doesn't belong in there. AI unleashed on us already, and there's no protections for any of us. Now, stick with me on this. As we visited, for instance, Senator Ashley Moody's office yesterday on the Hill, Senator Hawley's office on the Hill, and explained why this is dangerous, why we can't have it, why we need their support against this. Nobody, including all of these offices, I'm going to say again, this is nonpartisan, bipartisan, whatever you want to call it. Nobody understands why this is in there. Nobody's supporting it. Everybody's coming together on this. But I'm just curious, who actually put that in this bill? I'm going to get to the bottom of this. But so far, nobody's admitting to it. I don't believe it will go through. I want to share with you, there is tremendous, for the first time since I've been doing this Warriors work, tremendous bipartisan support, all in the name of protecting our children online. As a matter of fact, the Warriors were just asked to support Senator John Fetterman has stopped the Scroll Act along with his fellow Senator Katie Britt, and we're going all in on that. We're going all in on anything that has to do with kids and protections, and we'll go against the predators and big tech. Yesterday in Washington, we had a congressional briefing about the App Store Accountability Act. Now, you need to know all these things because it affects all of us in one way or another. Either you have kids, you have grandkids, you're an educator, you have family members, you have neighbors. We must, in 2025, all get on board for these issues, but you have to understand them first. And they're happening. All these things are happening so fast, I can barely keep up with them, right? And I know it's overwhelming, but you know what? The internet is here to stay. Big tech is here to stay. The war on for our children is here to stay because the internet has proven, big tech has proven, right? There's no accountability. So why should they stop anything or create any kind of, duty of care for kids, for families? The duty of care should come from the big tech end, right? Why is it unleashed on the public? The bottom line, as you know, lots of money being made. And so why should they stop doing anything they're doing, frankly? But we have to really think of this as putting human dignity, putting the profit over human dignity. We really have to start that mindset. We must all come together and do something. So yesterday we had the congressional briefing, and this bill, the App Store Accountability Act, was passed in Utah. And the sponsor of this was Senator Mike Lee. And so we briefed on that. And then we have many states right now. We also have, Texas just passed it into law. That's 2 states. And we have 12 states in addition that we think are going to pass it into law. So right now we're at 14. So we were on the Hill to go into the individual offices and really advocate for this bill. That being said, the states right now are doing more child safety bills, legislation, policy than our federal government. Now, how can this be? We just had the Take It Down Act in the Rose Garden. I was very privileged to be there representing the Warriors with our First Lady and our President to sign this into law. We have that, and that's about deep fakes. deep fake. If the big tech, if the company doesn't take it down within 48 hours, they will be held criminally responsible. We have that going on. And I'm kind of bottom lining things here. We have the Kids Online Safety Act just reintroduced about 2 weeks ago. I believe that will go through. In the meantime, we have Defiance Act, Stop CSAM Act. We have, in addition, I just told you about the Scrolling Act. We've got so many things. But unless let's go back to the AI, artificial intelligence, address this now, because we have seen that big tech has done nothing. Basically, the government has done nothing. It's been a runaway train on our children, the internet. Nobody here is talking about another issue that comes up all the time and is false, and I'm here to attest to this. Nobody's privacy is being taken away. Nobody's privacy is being taken away. I want to drill that into your heads. Nobody's trying to get into your lives because, frankly, your lives are an open book already, right? Like that's gone already, right? Between phones and remember the microwaves are spying on you, and it turns out things like that are true, and the smart TVs and this and that. So forget about that for a minute. For instance, the App Store Accountability Act holds Apple, who has the App Store, right? Let me give you an example. They have 800,000 app developers. Did you hear what I just said? Children can sign on to these different apps without parental consent. Okay? Now, I don't know whoever read this because nobody I know did. I did a little focus group yesterday in Washington. Apple has a 65-page accountability thing when you sign on, all those rules and regulations when you're buying apps or you buy an iPhone or any of this stuff. And who's reading 65 pages? Because the adults are not reading it. And kids, remember, anything with a minor, how can a minor enter into a contract with Apple? This is a contract, this 65 pages, right? It's impossible. It's against the law. A minor can't enter into a contract with a lawyer. I don't believe they can buy real estate. They can't drive cars. They're not supposed to drink, take drugs, all that stuff. But we've allowed them. We've allowed this device to rule their lives. This is the predator. Now, that being said, the App Store Accountability Act is about the contract with Apple. It's not about your privacy. It's not about anything like that. If you think back, go back if you can. I want to say 2010, 2008, 7. There used to be a piece of, if you go to GameStop, you buy one of those games, you had to have parental consent or something like that and sign off or be attached to a parent account or an adult account. We know from the tech people we work with, and Washington well knows this as well, there is the ability to not have minors entering into contracts and just checking off a box that says I'm 18 years old and lying. But they're not going to stop anything because there's no accountability and they're making lots of money. So the App Store Accountability Act simply says we will have a parental signature on this, or we will have it attached to a parental account, but there's going to be some accountability. That's what it's about. It's not about surveillance. It's not about, again, I want to point out, taking away your privacy, because big tech will use that as the argument. And the beauty about this act that has high bipartisan participation, motivation, is it will remain forever, because many times with the bills, with legislation, you have to go back and update it, renew it every 2 years or so. This will remain. But Apple has been getting away with so much. We even had a study from our great allies and collaborators at the HEAT Initiative where they tested 200 apps for age. You know, it goes like 4+, 8+, 12+, adult. And most scored, the ratings aren't true. Something that may say 8+ will be full of sexual content and dialogue. So they're misrepresenting not only to the parents and children, because most parents, remember, like, I'm in this, you may be more well aware of things if you're listening to the Warriors, but the average person, right, they're gonna trust the Apple App Store. They're gonna see 8+, and if the child wants the game, they're gonna say, okay, it's been rated 8+, right? Because pretty much, believe it or not, anything that's streaming or the movies, those ratings are pretty appropriate on a whole. But why not for Apple App Store, right? All this gaming that's going on. They're lying. They're not only lying to you, the consumer, the child, because they want those eyeballs, they want those dollars. They're lying to advertisers as well, right? Who are seeing those ratings and then basing their advertising on that. A lot of the advertising is inappropriate also for children. So App Store Accountability Act, I raise my hand. We at the Warriors support this. We will be doing a lot of work in Washington with this, but I want all of you to know what's going on. I'll leave you with one piece. I'd like to give you homework here in the Warriors. If you're using an iPhone, and we know that 91% of kids up to age 18, so we'll have to say 17 and under, right? Because 18 is considered the legal adult. 91% have an iPhone out of all the devices, right? So think about all those apps. And I told you at the beginning of this, 800,000 developers. So nobody's looking to shut anybody down, but to make it age appropriate, to make Apple adhere to rules that a minor cannot enter into a contract, to help parents and guardians with all of these issues. So this is what we're pushing on. Again, states are doing a much better job at protecting kids right now. Again, kudos out to Utah and Texas for signing this in. I leave you with Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, himself called last week Governor Abbott in Texas because he wants to try to shut this down. And Governor Abbott told him, no way. And that is great, standing up to this. Your homework is, if you're on the iPhone, if your kids' apps, make sure you know what apps are on their iPhone. If they come to you and want an app, make sure you do research. I will suggest always going to lynswarriors.org. You can always write to me, lynn@lynswarriors.org, for a little direction. I believe you should go to also our great allies and collaborators, protectyoungeyes.com. HEAT Initiative, we will give you true readings of what is happening. You need to follow us. You need to join us. You need to be a warrior. Please protect your children, because there is truly a war on for our children as we sit now in this AI, this artificial intelligence world we are in. We don't even realize it, but is about to explode. That being said, there are a lot of great people working in artificial intelligence. The artificial intelligence can be used for good, right? We talk about healthcare, the oil industry, also rooting out predators and being able to go through all kinds of URLs across the world to find, the crimes. So there's a lot of good to AI. So we want to build up that piece of AI that helps society, empowers society, and we want to tamp down, shut down the AI that will and is going after our children. So please honor our hashtag at The Warriors. Community creates change. And each and every day when you wake up, go out and be a warrior.